Hey, thanks again for pressing play. Welcome once again to another edition of the Suns Jam Session Podcast, the original post-game podcast right here on Planet Orange. It might be the preseason, but that doesn't matter. We're still going to be coming to you live after every single Phoenix Suns game. So if you are somebody who watches the show and you happen to be on YouTube, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and make sure you hit that bell notification because it's going to let you know every time we go live, which again is right after Suns game. My name is John Voida, managing editor, brightsideofthesun.com, and I'm joined, as always, by my podcasting partner, Matthew Lissy, who's got Kevin Durant looking at the sun behind him. Ooh, Devin, look at these graphics behind you,
flying too close to the sun. Yeah, there's a little bit of construction behind me with a new set going up. You know, I'm trying to get these guys to get going a little bit quicker, but they're falling behind. So I'm letting them know, you know, they're not going to get paid the minimum wage, which I promised before, but right now they're just not getting things done. So you will see as the preseason goes along. I'll stop talking about it.
Sun's up, baby. Yeah, one thing I love is every year you have a new studio setup. You always are changing and doing things. I've had the same painting behind me for 5 years. I'm just like nailed it the first time. That's all I'm going to do. I've got some I got some bobbleheads over here that no one can ever see. I got this new little basket over here, holds all my cords so they're off the ground, so it's easier to sweep and vacuum in the office. That's about it. But you know, it's another fun game for the Phoenix Suns, obviously beating the Detroit Pistons on the campus of Michigan State University today. So we've got plenty to talk about as it pertains to that. So like, subscribe, review, all that fun stuff. But thanks for hanging out with us. If you're new around here, welcome. If it's been a while, good to see you again. Drink a beer, pop it open, have a good time, talk Suns basketball. Michigan State University, which is Matt Ishbia's alma mater, and play the Detroit Pistons, a game that wasn't originally on the schedule, right? Like there's 4 preseason games, and they're like, no, we're throwing a 5th one in there, right, Matthew?
Yeah, they showed up though, which is very nice. You know, they played into the second half, so they were all there for Ishbia, backing him up in his home state of Michigan and wherever the hell they were.
East Lansing, Michigan.
That's what it was.
And one of the kind of cool things that happened before the game, it was all over social media. Devin Booker, who always is releasing new kind of PEs, if you will, player edition shoes, had these bad boys, these Michigan State Book ones, with the green and the white and the black with the little Sparty logo on the heel. Gave these to the whole Michigan State team, gave them to Tom Izzo, the head coach of Michigan State. And obviously Michigan State is a Nike-sponsored school, but just a very cool way to increase recruiting, obviously, for Matt. You know, Matt Ishbia has just got to be loving this shit, right? You know, Devin Booker's coming in there, cool, suave, one of the best players in the NBA with his own signature shoe, and he's just handing out his shoe, a special player edition shoe to his entire alma mater's team. It's got to be a great feeling.
Yeah, we got to start working over there too. I mean, walking into the office, you have the Suns players coming in there, and it's just great. I think that the fact that those players get to do a lot for Matt Ishbia, and he pays them back by, you know, giving them great surroundings to play basketball in. And
yes,
it's kind of, they just feed off of each other. It's a never-ending just love cycle. I love it.
and a great roster too. A great roster, which brings me my first question.
Matthew, I've got to ask.
Matthew, I got to ask. Phoenix Suns, 105-97, I think was the final score. So what's that? An 8-point victory, although it wasn't that close at all during the entire game. Who's the one person who caught your eye tonight? Was it Kevin Durant with his 21 points? Was it Ryan Dunn? Was it Oso Ighodaro, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Tyus Jones, Bol Bol? I mean, the list goes on and on of potential candidates, but I'm not asking who your Jamstar is. I'm asking who caught your eye tonight.
Well, we're talking about, you know, you're being a bad boy. That caught my eye. That would be Bol Bol. But being a good boy and actually changing the game, that's Ryan Dunn. It was. There was a few plays tonight that really caught my eye. Obviously, we talked a lot about last podcast about Oso and Ryan Dunn and how well they played in their first game with the Suns. But this game was probably better for both. But there were a few possessions from Ryan Dunn tonight that just kind of were explosive. And that's really what caught my eye. What about you?
Gosh, it's tough. It's tough. I'll go this route. For me, it was Oso Ighodaro. And we're doing something here. For the first time ever on the Suns Jam Session podcast, I'm going to play the Oso Ighodaro drop.
Oh. You know what I'm talking about.
Oso Ighodaro. Not
Nice.
There you go, everybody. We did it on the last podcast where we talked a ton about Oso Ighodaro, and I didn't have a drop ready for him. And I have a drop for pretty much everyone on the team, but I didn't have one for him yet. I'm like, he's got to earn it. After the first preseason game, he earned it. So rather than spending time with my family or walking the dog or taking out the trash that was neglected last night too, I sat in here and I made that drop for you, the Jamster. I hope you appreciate it. But Oso looked fantastic, in my opinion, in this game. You take a look at his overall stat line, nothing crazy, nothing overwhelming. He only played 20 minutes tonight, which he played 27 in the first game. But he was 3 of 5 from the field, only had 6 points, had 3 turnovers, but had 4 assists, 7 rebounds, and was a team, plus 10 in the plus minus. But what I noticed about Oso was it's a lot of the little things that he's doing that's impressing me. And it's weird to obviously open a game and start talking about a rookie, but at the same time, like that's what the preseason's for, is for the rookies. And Oso Ighodaro as a rookie is already light years ahead of, I think, even my expectations. We were hoping that he would have some of those transferable skill sets that would be implemented in time and he could develop. But he's already doing some things at a high level that I'm already impressed with. One of those, and I'm going to play a clip. And for those of you who are listening, you'll hear the clip. But this is a video taken by Dwayne Rankin, baseline, at the game. And I want you to watch what's going on. Tyus Jones has the ball, passes to Bradley Beal up at the three-point line. He drives, he passes it to Oso Ighodaro, or back out to Tyus. Oso, no-look pass to Bradley. Now, again, if you're watching, you heard a lot of, or if you're listening, you heard a lot of sneaker movement there. But at the same time, what happened on that play is Bradley Beal had the ball up at the three-point line. He drove, didn't find what he wanted, wrapped it around, passed it back out to Tyus Jones at the three-point line, who instantly passed it inside to Oso, who took the ball and instantly passed it to Bradley Beal, who was wide open for a three. And it was a no-look pass. If you watch that video again, it was a no-look pass. And here's why I was so impressed with that play and a lot of things that we've seen in just 2 preseason games from Oso Ighodaro. It's his level of processing. I think of I hate to go back and talk about, the past. But DeAndre Ayton, I don't know if you've heard of the guy. He used to play here. The way that DeAndre Ayton would process would take forever. I remember there were games where if he gets the ball at the top of the key and you throw him the ball, he'd sit there and hold it. And he'd turn around. And he'd be like looking for the guy that he needed to get to the ball to. Whereas Oso's getting that ball in the same exact situation and is instantly making a decision. It's a bounce pass to a cutter. It's a pass to the other side. It's that 0.5 that, Monty Williams used to talk about. Like DeAndre Ayton just didn't have the process. You could feel him thinking. You could feel it through the screen, and it did nothing but frustrate you as a fan because you're like, dude, just fucking make a decision. Like David Yolovitz says in the chat, he's so comfortable out there. God, I'm using that as a title because I know I already wrote one piece about Oso Ighodaro for Brightside this week. I'm writing another one. And so, I mean, that's how I took what I saw from Oso tonight. His level of intelligence and his ability to process things at a high level in real time are just unbelievably impressive, especially considering the fact that he's a rookie, Matthew.
Oh, it's beautiful. Like he said, DeAndre Ayton, it was kind of like a wall, just thrown into a wall and play stop. But not with this guy, man. Like you would think with him being so young, his head would be on a swivel with the ball, just kind of not know what to do. But he has a defense on a swivel. at all times. It seems like that no look pass, but even him getting the ball at the top of the key, you don't know what's going to happen, and that's what's so exciting about him having the ball there. It's like he can either hit a cutter, he can pass it back out, he can just dump it off, or run a screen, just run to the basket. But he just has so many options available with him in his arsenal. He has a lot, and I feel like this is just we're just now getting started right now. I know it is preseason, but there is a lot to look forward to with this guy on the court, and he has a size too. You know what I mean? Like he's just so versatile. He's like a bigger Cam Johnson. He kind of looks like Cam Johnson out there a little bit, just the way he kind of holds himself out there. But he's more athletic. He's actually a guy that can play multiple positions, I feel like. And he's a dude that's going to really just feed off of this first team unit too. So I know Plumlee did start this game, but I'm really looking forward for Oso to actually come out and start next game with that first unit. I really think that's going to be something that happens.
Yeah, I think it's worth trying because that's what the preseason is for. And we were noting it earlier. We're like, okay, well, why isn't Damian Lee getting a little bit more play? Because he got a whole half of play in game one, and he only played the fourth quarter in this one. Why is Ty Washington out there not calling Gillespie? Because we want to see more Gillespie because we liked what we saw in the fourth quarter in the first game against the Lakers. But at the same time, the reason for that is because this is the preseason and you are trying these different things and getting these guys some reps and putting things on film so you can analyze them later and utilize them in practice as an opportunity to enhance and develop team chemistry and individual skill set with those people who are out there. So that's the why. And why not give Oso Ighodaro an opportunity to potentially play if Nurkic is out again with the starting five? Because we saw the connectivity that he's already had. Like Bradley Beal is an amazing cutter. And in last year's offense, he just didn't have a lot of opportunities to be an off-ball cutter. But in this offense, with a player like Oso, who is like Dario Saric with his connectivity, Bradley Beal is going to feast. We saw it once in the game where, there's a back cut, boom, bounce pass, Bradley Beal dunk, right? Everything that Oso's doing right now is just, it's so clean. It's so crisp. It's sharp. It's calculated. The kid just knows the game, and it's nice to see that. And for those of you who follow Keith Smith on Twitter from Spot Track, every time Oso does something great, he can't help himself and talk about how amazing Oso Ighodaro is and how there's in no world should he have been a second-round pick. And he's been hyping this guy up the entire time. So he's not the only one who's seeing it. We're seeing it now, and it's nothing but impressive.
Yeah, and you can't wait for him to hit the floor, man. Like when Plumlee starts, like, all right, let's get your not Kaminsky, but Drew Eubanks plays out of the way, and then let Oso come in and work things out because he's just so versatile and does so much more. And he's obviously something that's we can kind of harp on because he is kind of a Suns future piece. So that's even more exciting there.
Yeah, talking about Plumlee. Plum de do de plum 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 de do de plum 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 Mason Plumlee. I'm looking forward to putting Suns highlights of Mason Plumlee in that drop. He just needs to provide us with some.
Will you have any? Yes. Are they going to exist?
He wasn't horrible tonight. He was 1 of 4 from the field. He had 5 points. 14 and a half minutes played, 5 assists for Mason, 1 assist, 3 rebounds. Am I reading that right? Yep, 3 rebounds. I mean, we were on the playback, and I was once again, just calling him, oh yeah, Mason Eubanks is out there because it's what he kind of looked like, very unathletic. And I get it. He was going against Jalen Duran. Jalen Duran is really good. He's athletic. He's young. He's got a great spring in his step. One of the top rebounders in the league last year. I think he averaged like 11.3 rebounds. So it's an unfair comparison to have Mason Plumlee out there and expect him to be effective against him. I just like a little bit more confidence in Mason Plumlee moving forward because I wasn't impressed in game one, and it's okay because it's the preseason. But I guarantee you that will bleed over into the regular season.
Well, I don't know what's So I would rather it happen this way, where we have kind of Drew Eubanks. Last year where he started off so hot and everyone was super excited about the guy.
Yeah.
Now Plumlee is kind of like he's gonna take some time to adjust. He's a big body that's gonna rebound. He can just set some good screens, and then you'll get some decent minutes out of him. So I think building on this is kind of something to look forward to a little bit, because you don't want it to hit you so hard, so fast. Kind of like last year in the preseason, Okogie looked amazing. He looked like a guy that was going to be the top 6, top 7 on the roster, and they just kind of fizzled out. So in the preseason, where you're trying to work out things with the big man, where, a lot of these guys now that are starting, and even when it goes into the bench, like a lot of these Suns players are athletic. They like to run. Plumlee doesn't really fit that mold anymore, right? We saw that a lot tonight where this team was running, especially in the second half. So that's why Oso is just more appealing, because he can run. So when you have Plumlee in there, it's going to slow things down, which is nice to open up with, just run some set plays. But when you want to get the offense going, you need a more versatile guy. And obviously when you have Nurk back in, he is a better rebounder. He's a guy that can actually feed, the cutters. He can move the ball around more. So like someone said in the chat, if Nurk misses games, a lot of games we are screwed. That's D-Wig 24. That's true, but that's a lot of players this year. I mean, if we miss anybody, we're going to be screwed. But
I don't know if we're screwed.
We're not screwed, but
that
too much to rely on Oso that early, though. That would suck, because we're really excited right now, but you don't want to put too much on the dude, right?
But you can already see what the Suns are doing to address that potentially. Now, yes, we will be quote unquote screwed on the boards. But even Mason Plumlee, he's a solid rebounder. He's just not going to give you shit pretty much offensively. But the Suns are experimenting with Kevin Durant at the 5, Bol Bol at the 4, Kevin Durant at the 5, Oso Ighodaro at the 4, and so they're trying to Oso at the 5, KD at the 4. I mean, they're running some different. They're putting some things on tape, because I think that they understand that that's a possibility, as it always is with Nurk, as it always is with any player. I think that the depth is there. I think that. But it's also, and I agree, because that's every team has a deficiency, right? I don't care if you're the fucking Boston Celtics last year or the Detroit Pistons. Every team has a deficiency. And I think that that's ours, is we just don't have that really big, athletic, dominating, rim running backup. Oso can fill aspects of that role, but he's more of a, he's just smaller in stature. So Mason, it's going to be interesting to see what he does. David in the chat, Plumlee is shopping for homes in Sun City West. Oso lives downtown. It's kind of where it's at.
We were excited to get Plumlee. We just knew it was a step above Drew Eubanks. But right now it's fine. It's not really worrisome to me. It's not. I'm not going to worry about the center position right now, just because this team right now just looks a little bit more quick, and I'm more excited about what they have in the backcourt with our wings and all that than our actually bigs downstairs. Or downstairs. Downstairs.
Down in the basement.
We were talking about dungeons earlier with Matt Ishbia, how many he actually owns on the play.
Every billionaire.
I was thinking about.
When you become a billionaire, they give you a G5 and some dungeons.
It's the windy stairs too that they keep going down 5.
This is why you got to tune into our playbacks. You got
to, man. It all bleeds together. We're all just talking about the same shit.
Same shit.
Who the heck are you? I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. Y'all know who I am. Did anybody see a sniper? Did anybody see anything? I'm one of the best players to ever play the game.
Kevin Durant led all scorers tonight. He had 21 total points, 4 of 6 from beyond the arc, and 8 of 12 overall. Had a couple assists, a couple rebounds, a steal. And I was having this conversation with one of my friends at work. And I'm going to ask you this.
Yeah.
Is Kevin Durant a three-point shooter?
I knew you were going to bring this up. I don't think of him as one.
Okay, tell me why.
Because he has so much more. He does so much more. He's just a guy that gets to the mid-range, and he'll get to the rim like tonight, cut. But I never thought of him as a three-point shooter, because last year with the Suns, it took him a while to kind of get things going, hit some big shots, big threes to win some games. But whenever I think of highlights, I don't think of the threes.
Okay. My friend agrees with you, and he says just due to sheer volume, he's more of a mid-range shooter, doesn't shoot a ton of threes. But for me, it's kind of, and it comes down to how do you define, Jesus Christ, the Dodgers are just getting fucking fucked. They're getting fucked. 6-1. Fucking turning this shit off. Sorry. Fuck you, Dodgers. Fuck you every year.
Right.
Fuck baseball. But it comes down to what's your definition of a three-point shooter. And for me, it's somebody who shoots volume threes and my definition of volume is about 4 or 5 a game, and does so at a high clip. And for Kevin Durant, he's somebody who can be an elite 3-point shooter, and we saw it last year. And again, he had a rough game 1, but 4 of 6 from beyond the arc in this, and he is further fortifying Mike Budenholzer's 3-point philosophy. And he's going to have to be somebody who's going to do it, and he's somebody who can do it because he's Kevin Durant and because he's just such an elite shooter. How many 3-point we're gonna have to make a drop at some point because I'm going to be talking about this 40% club all season long, right? 40%, for those of you who don't know, it's something I've started talking about, something I'm going to be tracking on brightsideofthesun.com, is can the Suns shoot 40% of their total shots as 3-pointers? They've never done it in the history of the franchise. The closest they ever did was 39.2% back in 2020/21, the year we went to the finals. The modern NBA, they've yet to be even above the league average every year, except for 1. And whereas Mike Budenholzer teams, in 4 of his last 5 years coaching, obviously he didn't coach last year, his team shot over 40% of their total shots from beyond the arc. Tonight, they shot 52.9% of their total shots from beyond the arc. And they won again. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and the 3-point percentage was only 35%, right? So drop last night was about 41%, 35%. But
the 40-40 club's tough.
It is tough, especially if a guy like Devin Booker's going 0 for 6, and you have Bol Bol coming. Well, he's only 0 for 2. But I like how they're still jacking him up, especially the rookie, especially Dunn. That's a guy that you don't expect it from, but if he has the confidence to do it, then a lot of these guys are. So it's something that's not going to settle down. Man, I'm loving what I'm seeing from the three.
I do too. It's fun to watch too. The pace they're playing
good shots too. There's nothing forced. They're good shots. They're missing the majority tonight, but they were good looking shots.
Well, I think that's because of the point guard play.
Sha la 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 la. Mr. Jones and me.
And Tyus Jones, 7 assists tonight. Nothing crazy. 7 points, 3 of 5 from the field, setting the team up, quick passes, precise passes. There's no, again, I talked about it with Oso Ighodaro earlier, but the same goes with Tyus Jones. And that's what we were missing last year. The fact that the team had to process things, and because of their processing, that half second of processing allows the defense to get set or to defend the play properly and negates your ability to be effective on that possession. Tyus Jones was setting guys up left and right tonight and putting guys in the right place to where they could make a quick decision as well, whether to score or, like in that Oso clip earlier, pass it to an open Bradley Beal for 3. 7-0. So he's now what? He had how many assists did he have in the last game? Was it 7 as well? He's 14-1. He has 1 turnover this in 2 games so far. We're seeing come to fruition what Tyus Jones brings his team and why it's important.
Yeah, and then last year it's hey, Beal has the ball, bring it down. Oh, he's stuck in the corner. Book has the ball. He's stuck again in the corner. And
a lot of stuck.
And the ball goes straight to him. As soon as you're inbounding the ball, it goes straight to Tyus, and they run down the court, set things up. So it's not KD take a turn. No, it's straight to Tyus. Even when the second quarter or the second half started, they started to pick up the pace, and he's part of that. Obviously, you want him to be because he is our point guard, but just to see that, and I know it's the Pistons, but that made me even more excited because the pace is there. He shoots that 3 on the fast break, drills it. That's the run that we never really had last year. And preseason, but we just never had those runs where we can have another guy step up and hit a big shot like that and just do so many other things on the court to feed the big 3. So great play by him again, man. Just back-to-back games. It's amazing to see, and it's something that we can definitely count on almost pretty much every game this season if he stays healthy, I feel like.
Steady hand. Just steady hand by Tyus out there. There's no shaking. He's confident what he's doing. They're crisp passes. They're hitting their mark every time, and they're made with precision relative to decision-making as well. And I was impressed by what I saw from him tonight. And again, Monte Morris had 5 assists, no turnovers. So that's a 12-0 assist to turnover ratio. And that's what you want. It's just, so you take this 3-point shooting, you take this playmaking, and you're just seeing some good quality basketball. And this is only a couple games in. And granted, I know it's preseason. I fucking hate this part of the year because we have to say it like at the end of every point. We're like, I know it's preseason, and it's the Pistons.
Yeah,
it's like this double whammy, but everything looks good. Okay, not everything.
Look, up in the sky! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's
Bol Bol, motherfucker.
Bol Bol did not look good tonight. He was a team worst -17. -17. 16 minutes played, 2 points, 1 of 3 from the field, 0 of 2 from beyond the arc, 2 rebounds. He had an assist. He had 1 turnover, but he looked. Whew. I mean, what did you see from Bol Bol, Matthew?
I saw nothing. I saw a guy that wanted to get to his corner. I don't know what he was doing, man. The guy was kicking KD out of the corner. This is my corner, dude. Like, so that's definitely not the play. There's no way there's a set play to where he runs and he crowds the corner with Kevin Durant. Like, I don't understand what's going on. Defensively got cooked again. He's just not looking confident at all. He did have a good little cut to the basket, took a guy off the dribble, got to the rim, passed it out to Royce O'Neal, hit a 3. That was a great play. There's just so much wrong with what he's doing on the floor just because everything else looks so good, right? There's just so much stagnant play from him, and there's so much like just he's defeated almost as soon as he comes in. You can see it on his face too. The crowd still goes crazy, but he's defeated. The play is defeated. Like, there's just nothing right now. And obviously we got the 3 more preseason games. I'm not giving up on the dude, but he has to find his role, find his fit with his team. And it shouldn't be that difficult, I feel like, for him, because he's a big dude. And even down in the paint, man, he's a little lackadaisical. He's a little just short getting over there, or he's not quick enough to turn around and kind of like just defend on the weak side, get a block when it's there. He can kind of see it. Just takes him a little while to think about it. And then he goes over there a little too late. So that's the way he's playing right now defensively. And that's a little rough, man, because you need his size, his length defensively under the rim. And it just wasn't there against a Pistons team that they had Durant, but come on, I just want to see it tonight, at least just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, right? You said it takes him a little time to think about it, and then he goes over there. Everything I'm talking about that's been impressive about the Phoenix Suns over these first 2 games has been that decision-making and their reaction time. And Bol Bol is lagging behind. And it's obvious. It's clear as day when you're watching the games. When he's playing defense, there's a possession where you have Ron Hall in the second, right? The Detroit Pistons, I think, 5th overall pick in the 2024 NBA draft. And Bol Bol's defending him, and Bol Bol's just kind of standing there, and he's like looking and he's thinking, and like as he's looking, Holland flies right by him, takes him off the dribble, and Bol fouls him because he lost on that possession. That's what Bol does. When you beat him, he'll just foul you. On defense, another time, same thing on the interior. He's looking around, you can see him trying to figure out who to box out. And in turn, he's not boxing out anybody. It reminds me of DA last year when he was setting those fake screens for the Blazers. Yeah. He's just running around like, I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be here, but no one's there to be screened. You can feel him thinking. It's the same thing offensively, right? As you mentioned, he kept running to the right corner, like Kevin Durant standing there. He's like running to it. It's like he's not processing things at the level he needs to be at this time. It's not to say he can't get there. We've seen him do it in the past, but it's an uphill battle, especially when you're fighting for a roster spot around a lot of guys who are playing properly within the system that Mike Budenholzer's putting out there. I'm sure there's going to have a lot of conversations and a lot of practice over the next couple days as the team returns home to the Valley to play these Pistons again on Friday night about how they can put Bol in situations where he's confident. Because you're right. The body language, there's not a confidence out there. You can see him thinking, and you can see him making wrong decisions, and you can see it's affecting him. So hopefully Bol can start to see the matrix, if you will, because right now he's not seeing it.
No, he's not seeing much, man. But we do give him a little bit more time, obviously. It's going to be hard with this team. There's a lot of good players out there right now, even, all the rookies, and then Colin Kalitsky looking good. So,
yeah, Colin Gillespie, another guy I don't have a drop for, and we'll see if he earns it. But he had a solid performance again in the fourth quarter. Another guy who, and granted, game one, all he did was play in the fourth quarter. This game, he played a little bit before that, but ended tonight with a total of 9 points and, led the team in scoring in that fourth quarter, one where the Suns were outscored 31-21. And that's why, it's an 8-point victory. It was an 18-point lead pretty much the whole game. But I like what I'm seeing from Colin Gillespie. What do you think about Eddie Johnson referencing that he's got a little John Stockton to him? And if he has 5% of a John Stockton in him, that makes him an all-star.
I don't believe that part, but I do maybe see 5% of John Stockton in him. When you did say it, I thinking? I said Goran Dragic kind of out there.
Kind of wears number 12 and he's white.
Yeah, he kind of, that's exactly why. There's no other reason. I mean, I've only seen 2 games of him, but I don't see the John Stockton as much, maybe 5%. That is kind of a weird thing to say, but yeah. I don't think you'd be an all-star if you have 5% of his powers. Unless he had like 90% of like Charles Barkley after that.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, but we'll continue. I mean, I'm rooting for Colin, and I like what I've seen. Hit a couple corner threes, and that's a good thing to have, obviously, when you're talking about the 17th guy on the bench. Talking about probably, let's see, I'd probably say the 7th guy on the bench.
Yeah, bling, bling, bling. Rolls Royce, Rolls Royce, Rolls Royce, yeah, nigga, Rolls Royce.
Royce O'Neal, solid night. 3rd on the team in scoring, 11 points, 4 of 6 from the field, 3 of 5 from downtown, had a rebound as well. Definitely looking thinner, don't you think?
Yeah. We mentioned like the flow of the game is like just presenting itself in such a kind way to him right now, where he's just kind of just, going with the flow, and he's just seems lighter with the release. He seems a lot lighter just on the floor, but he's fitting so well with that offense where he's ready to go in every spot, every situation, no matter who's on the floor with him. He hit that one from Bol Bol, that pass, but he was doing that the whole game. That when he was in, he was just setting up. He's ready for the 3. I just feel like he's just that guy. It's just like, oh shit, Royce is on the floor. Oh, nice. All right, here we go. No Grayson Allen tonight. All right, we got Royce on to hit a couple threes. So we did talk about him being, if he's like the 6th man for the Suns team, then we're looking pretty good. He has a chance to be that guy. I just don't expect it every night, but just looking at him just to be that thin and to just be so graceful on the floor, it's a nice thing to see, because a lot of these guys in the offseason work very hard to get where they're at, looking, very slim, looking bigger. Some of the guys like Grayson Allen. So he was one of those guys that kind of joined that and really focused in the offseason to work on his diet and come back, look slimmer, and he's going to help the team in every way he can, especially hitting those threes.
Yeah, he mentioned it at Suns Media Day that he did thin down. He's on a secret diet, but he couldn't tell us what it was. The only thing he did tell us is that he doesn't like peanut M&Ms, right? But at the same time, his shot is so quick, so smooth. It's a lot like Damian Lee, and you don't really appreciate it until you see Josh Okogie try to shoot a 3, because his is just like slow-mo 3. And it's funny because obviously those of you who are a fan of the podcast on YouTube, you see that we take a lot of the conversations that we have here and we've been releasing them as shorts, under a minute shorts, just quick conversations about what we were having. And we released one today about Josh Okogie. Some of your thoughts on Josh Okogie, and it showed a couple highlights of his 3-pointers from the last game. And he's like so wide open that he has the chance to get those off, but he tried to get one off today and it got blocked because, he was just trying to get it off at his normal speed and the defenders were there. That's not the issue with Damian Lee. That's not the issue with Royce O'Neal. Royce is one of those, I kind of feel like he's the forgotten son on this team, because he came over last year and he had an impact right off the bat. Kind of fell off a little bit. You didn't hear from him as much. The energy wasn't necessarily there, but he's kind of been a silent assassin thus far. And that's what you're going to need from him as the season progresses is, if he can get you 11 to 15 points coming off the bench, that's such a huge win for this team, because again, it continues that scoring onslaught when your other primary scorers are getting their much needed rest in. You factor in the fact that there will be injuries, and Royce O'Neal at some point will be a member of the starting 5, and he can absolutely and unbelievably fulfill that role. And I liked what I saw from him today. I liked his spacing, and I liked the quick twitch shot that he was firing off tonight.
Yeah, and who's stealing his minutes, though? I mean, who's stealing Royce's minutes, or even Damian Lee? I don't think like Josh Okogie has to worry about that more than a lot of these guys.
I feel like Dunn.
Yeah, Dunn. Yeah, that's true. I think. Well, I don't know. I just feel like you're gonna always count on seeing a lot of Dunn. You're gonna see a lot of Royce O'Neal and a lot of Damian Lee. Josh Okogie, though, obviously is a guy on the outside looking in at sometimes I feel like this season, or just the beginning of the season, we've been talking about it, but that's a lot to worry about where you're watching a guy like Dunn come in there and steal his minutes because he has to worry about that guy. He has to worry about other guys and just actually getting any minutes. So I think it's going to be a weird up and down season with Josh Okogie. Like last game, he looked good, hit some big threes. He looked confident from three. This game is just was like having a hard time at the rim. Didn't finish. Like you said, got his three blocked. So he has a lot to worry about, and I feel like that's just kind of weigh on him a little bit this year.
Yeah, it's going to be, he's going to be fighting for every minute, Josh is. And, it's because people like Ryan Dunn are such great two-way players.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Ryan Dunn in this game, 10 points, 3 of 5 shooting, all of that coming from downtown. Had 4 rebounds, had an assist, had a steal, had 2 block shots, including this beauty against Cade Cunningham. Just takes it from Cunningham, takes it in transition, stops, pops, nails the 3. Just a beautiful, beautiful possession there by Ryan Dunn. If Ryan Dunn's doing things like that, Josh Okogie and Royce O'Neal, your minutes are in trouble this year.
Yeah, he also had another play too. Like that play right there was like I haven't seen that from anybody, any Suns player in the past. Anyone that's that young, anyone that's a rookie. Yeah, but like just that smooth, like you said, Mikal has that hitch and stuff. Like Ryan Dunn just he has a smooth jumper, man. It's really nice, especially that's the first one we've seen. I feel like from top of the key instead of in the corner, so you can kind of see the follow through like from the side angle, and it looks so nice, man.
Yeah,
he actually had when he first came in, he hit a 3. And then he turned the ball or forced a turnover. It led to more points for the Suns. Like he's an instant impact guy. He is exactly what we want from Okogie. But from Okogie, like you just kind of wish for it all the time, right? But Ryan Dunn is just like you're gonna get it, man. Those steals on Cade Cunningham, like he had no choice. He knew exactly where he was gonna go with the ball, and his hand's already there. His hand's already on the ball, taking it away from him, and he's going down the court with it, and he's pushing the ball. Like it's amazing how good he is. Even on Cade. We like him kind of, but we know he has a lot of improvement, and we don't know if he's going to ever get there like an all-star, like we thought he might be as a rookie. But right now, it's like Ryan Dunn doesn't care. Cade has a lot to prove in this game too, and like in subreddit, they're not too happy with him, but he just made it difficult on him.
Yeah, what Dunn has is, again, as I talked about with Oso, the quick decision-making, they both possess instincts. And Dunn's instincts defensively are truly elite. And we heard about it at the draft, that this quite possibly was the best defensive prospect in the draft, but due to his lack of offensive capability, he dropped as far as he did. Good for the Suns because, again, 3 of 5 from beyond the arc, 10 points, and that defense, shit, sign me up for that. His anticipatory nature, as you mentioned, when Cade Cunningham's coming in and he's trying to take the ball across his body, Dunn's hand's already there to take it. He did that 2 or 3 more times in the game where he was just unbelievably anticipatory. And it's kind of like having Mikal Bridges back. And I know no one's saying it, or maybe we are, but it's what it feels like. You're, oh, shit, fuck yeah. A lockdown defender. Hello, Ryan Dunn. And he doesn't have a hitch in his shot. Remember Mikal's hitch? There was a thing like going from season 1 to season 2. It's like, oh, they fixed the hitch. Thank God. And yeah, John Tran's right. The Kawhi comps are coming for this guy. He is disgusting on defense.
Yeah, he is. And what's really cool is watching him with Oso on the court too. Because, when we had Mikal and Aiden, we loved how they can play defense on like the top tier. Then whenever we always liked it when Luka would play against Mikal and Aiden because they can kind of contain him in a way. But the way that they play together on defense in the paint, like whoever talked about earlier, if we were to actually miss Nurkic, if he were to miss some games, like, damn, we're screwed. Like defensively, maybe. I can just see how Oso and Ryan already have like that kind of companionship on the court. Like they can really feed off of each other. Like they're down there, hands up, grabbing the ball when it comes down around the waist. Oso, obviously, he's a pretty good defender. Like, those guys can feed off of each other. Oso is bigger on the court than I expected. I don't know how dominant he's going to be in regular season, but whenever you have a hard time rebounding, hard time stopping these guys in the paint, those two seem like they can live up to a little bit of expectations. That's going to be the thing that I'm really looking forward to, is when those two are on the court at the same time.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be fun. And that's what this is, right? Like, talk to yourselves, Suns fans. It feels fun, right? It wasn't fun last year. As fans, we were all nervous. We had this nervous excitement about this team that had just welcomed Bradley Beal, and we thought that potentially the moves made in the offseason were high upside swings. And when you take a high upside swing, there's an opportunity that you can miss, and they missed a lot. And it was frustrating. This season's fun so far, and I know it's only 2 games in, but this is fun. What's also fun is hearing the subreddit from the opposing team, and Matthew was undercover today.
I was. Yes.
Went over to Detroit, which can be scary, and he was on the subreddit stakeout.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
Surprise.
You really went all out.
Yeah, I went all out. I put chapstick on and I went in there. I came out alive, though. There were some funny comments. You wouldn't think there would be too many, but
real quick. For those listening, normally, I mean, I'm sure you get the drift. We dress up and we go undercover. We go under disguise. Matthew just put on chapstick.
I don't have it. Nothing hit me yet. All right. There's no Valley Girl this year. I have to think of something else, and hasn't hit me yet. So hopefully,
no Valley Girl, no Batman. Batman was last episode. No La Lady.
Nah. Maybe it'll come back. I don't know. We'll see.
It's a preseason.
Matthew took his pants off. They're always off, dude. All right. Subreddit Stakeout. Brought to you by Pennzoil. Huh?
Can you do this in a Michigan accent?
I cannot do accents. They all sound just like I'm Mexican. So that's all I can do, I think. Anyone else hear Bill say with the fuck scream when he got hit on that freight train? Like, do you remember when he took that charge early in the game?
Yes.
And so he ran into him. And I feel like Beal does this a lot. When he's trying to take the charge, he runs into the guy a little bit. And I think he almost got hurt last time he did this last season.
Uh-huh.
So I don't like it. So I guess someone did mention he was like, fuck. Like, when the guy was coming towards him.
Well, remember
a little bit more.
He broke his nose because Miles Turner.
Yes, he did get hurt. Yes, yeah, he did that. He threw himself in, and it was an offensive, or it was a defensive foul they called too. So, I didn't hear that, but geez, who's Fontecios?
Fontuccio?
Fontuccio? Is that how you pronounce his name?
Fontuccio? Yeah, he's one of their sharpshooters.
Yeah, someone said his big ass teeth make him ball so hard, I think. So that was pretty funny. There's a few Cade comments.
Oh yeah, bring the Cade. I want to know what the Detroit Pistons fans think of Cade Cunningham.
There was actually not as many negative. They were just kind of questioning him, like, what is he? Like, what is he doing? I like the improvement of Ivy, but I don't see anything from Cade yet. But there was just one about love Cade, but he needs to work on adjusting his layups mid-attempt. When there's no contest, he always tries to go over. So we saw that in today's game. He kind of goes up against a double coverage, turns the ball over. That's always the thing that drives me nuts, because I feel like a lot of young players do that. Like, they'll just try to draw the contact, go up in the paint against guys they cannot get the shot over, but then still try. Yeah. And I couldn't think of the one Suns player that kept doing it last year. I forget who the hell it was, but a lot of comments like that. Nothing too crazy, nothing too harshful about him. Believe it or not, I am confident we will win this. Even if the starters don't play again, our depth is better than theirs. So
wrong. That's because in their first preseason game, they played against the Milwaukee Bucks, and when the Bucks sat their starters in the second half, the Pistons bench team, it was 120-87 was the final score of their first game. So that's why that false hope happened.
Yeah. Well, we won. And last one, Dizzy Gillespie. I kind of like that. Dizzy, just because he was making the defense a little dizzy out there. I don't know. Now it sounds stupid. Now it's not even funny at all. That's all I got.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
That's all Matthew had.
Yeah, it's pretty lame.
Yeah, well, it's preseason, right? It's preseason. Chapstick as a disguise. David Yolovitz, thank you so much in the chat. $4.99
Perfect.
in the super chat says Party City gift card. Take that, Matthew. Take it to Party City and go get. What happened to your glasses with the nose?
At least something.
Yeah, throw on
I told you we're
some
under
sunglasses.
construction, dude. I'm trying to pay these guys.
Oh, yeah.
And they're making minimum
Fair.
wage. I'm not going to pay them minimum wage.
Fair. Yeah, I'm with Rao there. I'm not trolling when I say this, but I wonder what Dave King would have think of this roster. I think of that all the time, man. Just missing what he would hear his thoughts on this team. All right, Jamstar time. You want to give out some hardware?
Let's do it.
All right.
Jamstar of the game.
All right. The reminder: subscribe, rate, review. And speaking of Dave King's Brightside Night is going to be going on this year. It is on January 9th. The Suns play the Hawks. So if you donate $15, you can send an underprivileged kid to the game. And then there's progressing perks in there. If you send, between 2 and 9, you can send multiple kids to the game and you get exclusive discounts. You start at one. If you don't, you want to donate up to $150, you can get 2 upper level tickets to that Suns game against the Hawks. So if you get a chance, the link is in the description. Please donate, send a kid to the game. It's Dave King's Brightside Night. We're keeping that legacy going for him. Matthew, who are you giving the Jamstar of the game to this night?
I think I just have to give it to KD. 21 points. What the hell?
Yeah, Kevin, it was quiet. It was a quiet 21, wasn't it?
I gotta give it to Ryan Dunn.
Oh, changing it up on me.
I have to give it to Oso. No,
I'll
give it to Ryan Dunn. Yeah, that was a lot of fun today.
Let's see what's going on in the chat. All right, so Suns Fever gives it to Dunn. Brian Herrera, Jamstar goes to Suns teamwork. Juan Carlos gives it to Dunn as well. David Ray gives it to Durant. I'm sure if Maya B was here, she'd give it to Durant. John Tran, I think KD for the first unit. Oso for pretty much the rest of the game. Maya B is here. It's new season, Maddie. Come correct. KD for AJ. Joe Casillas gives it to Oso. Corey Flynn, Jamstar is Suns team for putting up with Ishbia's mortgage company visit. They must love that. It's funny. They were showing cuts of like all of the United Mortgage wholesale employees who were there, and they're all wearing this like Suns Nation shirt. And one guy like kind of flashed, and another guy was getting ready to moon the camera before they cut away. Same guy. Like that guy. That's why we're saying earlier, like, that guy's going to end up in Matt Ishbia's dungeon. Like, that guy's toast. Yeah. He's drunk at a company outing, and I don't know if he knows what the camera's doing, but it's like televised to the whole Phoenix Suns network, and he's getting ready to moon it. What a clown.
They're going to hang him by those little nipples, dude. Chains in the dungeon. He's like,
just swaying. It puts the lotion in the basket. Kevin Durant is the Jamstar of the game, but for me personally, it's Oso. Oso impressed me so much tonight. I mean, I can't stop feeling this level of excitement for this 40th overall pick. He's playing so much above his weight class. It's unbelievable, and we're going to continue to watch him develop and grow. But as I mentioned before, his ability to make those quick decisions, and thus far, for the most part, they've been the right decisions. It's just unbelievably impressive to see him play. Next game for the Phoenix Suns is going to be against the Detroit Pistons. Once again, we're going to be playing at Footprint Center. This is the home opener for the Phoenix Suns relative to the preseason. Anything you're looking for in that game, Matthew?
Yeah, just the guys that are kind of like hit or miss, but mostly missing. That's just Bol Bol. I want some other guys that kind of stand out. I'm very impressed with everything else. It's the Pistons again, so it's not going to be one of those things where it's like, oh, they won. They're 3-0 in the preseason. Look out. But you do want to see some of these other guys step up, and that's Plumlee, that's Bol Bol. You want to see Josh Okogie step up again, have 2 out of 3 games that are pretty decent. And, yeah, that's all I'm looking for. What about you?
Bol Bol. I really want to see, like, again, I want to see some semblance of just confidence. For the most part, everyone who's been playing out there has been executing properly. The Suns are shooting the threes that we expected them to do. The big three looked great. I mean, you had 21 from KD, 12 from Beal, and 10 from Devin Booker, and that's with an 0 for 6 from beyond the arc.
Yeah.
So, in not a lot of minutes played, that those three were effective. We'll see if Nurkic is playing. I feel like he's still going to be out in this game, but I will really be watching Bol Bol because he's the one of these things is not like the other right now, and it's Bol Bol. So that's all I got. Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here, Matthew?
No, I think if you want to actually, no, I'm good.
Okay. Well, Jamsters, reminder, join us Friday after the game. We'll be going live, potentially from the Footprint Center. We might both be down there covering the game for Bright Side of the Sun. If not, Matthew will be there, and I'll be podcasting from my background that never changes. But that's all I got, Matthew. Tell me what to do.
Go there, right?
You son of a